interesting, I think, for those that got to view it. But our light didn't really change here. I thought it stayed somewhat the same.
It got dim.
But dim.
It got a little dim. It looked
That's it.
almost like cloud cover to me.
Yes,
It wasn't really covered until about an hour after that. It was Right.
yes.
Exactly.
Exactly. The issue was more bright before, I thought. Yeah. Are we live now?
Yeah, we are live.
Okay, welcome everyone to this meeting of April 9th. And we'd like to call the meeting to order. And Madam Clerk, if you would like to move forward with the agenda, please.
Are there any additions to the agenda?
Have one like to go on camera, please.
For what matter?
It's a real estate issue. And governance. Thank you.
Burn a seconder, please. Councillor Trahan, Councillor Kelly. The draft agenda presented to council and dated the 9th day of April 2024, be adopted as amended by adding an in-camera item under real estate matters.
All in favor? Bon, okay, thank you so much. Accepting the minutes of the previous meeting.
Burn a seconder, please. Deputy Mayor Roy Akers and Councillor
Go.
Kelly. Got the minutes of the regular council meeting of March 26, 2024, and the special meetings of March 26 and March 28, 2024 be adopted as circulated.
In favor? Bon, carried, thank you. Do you hear us well? And so absent with regrets is Councillor Champagne, and online is Deputy Mayor Rouillakers. I'm just making sure that she can hear us well, but I think it's all good. So great technology, it's working well today. So hopefully everyone online can hear well. Any business arising from the minutes? We were just commenting on the eclipse, which was certainly not discussed. I should have made that under chair's comments. Sorry. I have already moved ahead to chair's comments. I apologize. But before we'll finish with business arising from the minutes, there being none, there being any declarations of conflict of interest, there being none. And so chair's comments, yes, I was just commenting on how in East Ferris, we did get a bit of the eclipse, but it was mainly cloud cover. But yet it was, I think, for many, I was quite impressed with our citizen, Michelle Saint-Onge, who is a member of the North Bay Astronomy Club. And she was very active in organizing the events for our broad community. And there was a lot of participation by a number of citizens from East Ferris. So that was good. And I wish to highlight Michelle Saint-Onge's work in doing that. The North Bay Astronomy Club is quite a busy club. And so it's quite good if any citizens are looking for activities in our area. That is a good club to join. Delegations to council, we obviously have none. In committee reports, we don't have any committee reports. Does anyone wish to mention anything in particular before we move to board reports? There being no comments, board reports, any specific, sorry, was there? Just 1 second here. No. Pardon me, any comments about board reports? Deputy Mayor Rouillakers? You're on mute.
Yes, sorry. We had a library board meeting yesterday, so there is the at budget. The council asked for Madame Laporte to present a report comparing East Ferris Library to other libraries in comparison. So that will be coming to you. She has done it, and we reviewed it yesterday. The library board would like to thank council for approving the library budget for this year. So that was a very good news to them. Just to note, the flea market is May 4th, which is the same day as the goods exchange. So I think there's still room for tables, and they're extending the deadline for 1 week. We are reviewing the strategic plan, which is a living document, and have been looking through that. As well, renovations are ongoing. I think they're finished drywalling, and mudding should be starting soon, and painting. And And Madam Laporte was talking that they think that it'll be done, all the renovations by May 1st, but they'll have a better way of approximating that final date by the end of this week. So that's just a few things. The minutes and the reports will be submitted for next council meeting.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that report. It's good that you mentioned the flea market and the Good Exchange Day. I noted as well that the municipality has started to post online a really nice poster promoting the Good Exchange Day, and the comments from the citizens are very favorable. People are reacting very favorably. So as much as we can do to encourage people to get out, to come out, to travel to the municipality, I mean, that's what we're looking for, is the people to really to come out and to travel the roads, and as well as to go to the community center that day. So I think it's really good work for the promotion that's been done so far. So let's keep it up. I just want to say maybe on the Police Services Board, we meet next week in Bondfield. It's our first organizational meeting. Oh, it's here. Fine. Okay. So it's our first organizational meeting with Chisholm and Bondfield. And so we'll provide a report following that, but looking forward to that first meeting together. There being no further reports, we'll move to departmental reports. Councillor, I'm so sorry. Yeah, did you?
I was just
Yeah.
going to say that the North Bay Animal Conservation Authority, the election for the executive chair positions have changed. So the chair is now going to be Shelley Boulanger, and on the executive it's going to be Dave Brighton, Lana Mitchell, and Dave Brennan. I believe there's one other person, but I think that person withdrew their name. So there'll be 4 people on the executive, and then of course the chair. So.
Was it Shelley Belanger? Was she the
Previous chair was Dave Brennan.
Dave Braden. Okay, so this is a change there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now departmental reports. Monsieur Antoine Boucher.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, member of council. So this report is following approval of budget. There was a first tender that was sent. The tender specifically was in regards to the Lake Osmosing Road culvert reline, tender EF 2402. The tender was sent by invitation on Thursday, March 28th, and the tender closed on April 4th at 3 p.m. was open at 3:15. In the municipal office in presence of Councillor Rick Champagne, myself, Director of Public Works, and our clerk, Carrie Anselman, and there were no members of the public attended. There were 5 documents that we submitted, and then we received 3 bids. The analysis was the following 3 submissions. We had ST Pipes, we had GMP Contracting, and then we had Provincial Underground Services, respectively for the 3 amounts of 131,532. Including HST, and the second at 146,900, including HST, and the last bid was at 117, 717, and 75 cents, including taxes. We checked for error and omissions, there were none, and therefore, based on the lowest bid, the recommendation reads that council for the municipality of Ferris awards the tender EF 2024-02, the Osmosing Road Culvert Reline Project to Provincial Underground Services in that amount of 117, 717, and 75, including interest.
Resolution now,
Sure. Mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Trahan, Councillor Kelly. That council for the municipality of East Ferris accepts the recommendation from the municipal engineer contained in report number R 2024-04. And award the tender for the Osmosing Road Culvert Reline to Provincial Underground Services, Inc. in the amount of $117,717.75, including HST.
on favor? Carried. Thank you so much. And Mr. Boucher, before you leave the table, simply want to mention that this will be the last time we see you officially until we go to Ontario Good Roads, and where we will see you on the stage And I'm always amazed by these conferences. I mean, there's 2,000 people at least in those rooms. There's so many people attend these conferences. And so don't be nervous. With you, we've got your back.
There's no tripping on that.
So the big point is that we need to mention is that Monsieur Boucher will be named president of the Ontario Good Roads Association. And that is a very significant achievement for our municipality. These are all the municipalities in Ontario. And so for our chief engineer to be holding that position, it is very impressive. We know that Councillor Champagne has in the past held that position, and he certainly groomed Monsieur Boucher. And so I think we have lots to be proud of as a municipality to see Monsieur Boucher moving into that position. So we wish you the very best here. We look forward to supporting you in every which way that we can.
I appreciate it.
So we'll.
So I want to say one thing. That's a great achievement, Antoine, for a small municipality of ours, of 5,000 people, and for a big organization, Ontario Good Roads. Which does, I'm just starting to realize actually how much impact and how much work they actually do in the province of Ontario, and the executive and that does a lot of this work. So you know what, I take my hats off to you and congratulate you personally, as well as I would imagine the rest of the council will probably say something too. But you know what, good for you, good for East Ferris. You know what, that means that somebody's recognizing we have some really good talent in our municipality, and we actually do have some really great talent. So you know what, take my hats off to you. Congratulations, and look forward to seeing you up there. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great, Councillor.
Personal question, how long have you been on the board? I've been some time. As well as the Engineers Association, if I'm not mistaken as well, correct?
I think perhaps about 8 years, I think.
That's significant.
Mark.
Thank you for everything you do.
Yeah.
I mirror the remarks. I don't want to repeat, but it's excellent and brings us a lot, brings a lot of attention to the right place. So.
No, that's good. I appreciate it. It's a great networking, and I mean, they do bring a lot to the municipality as well.
For sure. Congratulations again.
And furthermore, we have a very busy year ourselves as East Ferris when it comes to roads. And we're very delighted that your eye is on that as well, because it is an important year. And that proof of that is this tender that's coming right out of the gate after our budget. So thank you for that. Why? Okay, so we moved to notice of motions, and that was our first our procedural bylaw, putting it into effect, and our first run at it. And so we got some practice with it. And thank you, Councillor Kelly. We turn it over to you. Or do we table the resolution first? We table, okay, I'll turn it over to you.
And a seconder. Kelly and Councillor Trahan. Council for the Municipality of East Ferris dissolved the Economic Development Committee effective April 15th, 2024. And further, that all economic development related matters be referred to senior staff to make recommendations to council, and further that a letter be sent to the Economic Development Committee members thanking them for their time and effort.
Thank you. And so, Madam Clerk, in keeping with procedural bylaw, is Councillor Kelly now
Yes,
makes a statement, correct? To go ahead.
Sure. Thank you very much. This is actually, it's not the elimination of the Economic Development Committee, it's a restructuring of the Development Committee. Initially, one of the reasons for the Economic Development Committee as an ad hoc committee was to promote a trade show for our local industries and anybody who wanted to partake and show off their business and so forth. But right now, that trade show is up and running, and it's almost runs on its own, and we put out FRPs this year, and it's doing really well. I think involvement from the Economic Development Committee is appreciated, but it's time now to move on. We're in a very competitive market for the small businesses and medium and large businesses that might come our way. The OPP in the same building that we're in right now, adjacent to us, is an ideal example. So I've listed in a very short list, and I'll go through it quickly. Some of the major accomplishments in the last probably 10 years that there's been no involvement from the Economic Development Committee. So basically, it was senior staff and council involved. Because quite often, what I'm going to mention here, you need government grants. And that means you need a formalization, a formal committee, you need input from municipality, both councillors and mayor especially, and senior staff, because we have to interface with the government employees and do the grants. So here's the list. Here's what's happened in the last probably 10, 12 years. New medical building, including 3 doctors now practicing and a first-class pharmacy. New gas station complex at 17 and 94 highways. New animal hospital being erected at 17 and 94 highways. New subdivisions both on Highway 94, 2 on 94 actually, and 1 on 1 Mile Road. There's a new municipal building, new municipal garage, new woodworking business where Donald Champagne's former business was. Brand new building there for his license, right? So it's double the size. We've got a new therapy center, which is on Peta Corner to where we're sitting right now. We've got new renovations at the Corbeil Hall, which have been completed now with council's added money. We've got a new recreation bike path and recreational area now going into the Corbeil Park area, as well as the Trout Lake, both McPherson Drive and Centennial. We've got the Wheelers tear down and potential rebuild coming in hopefully the near future. We've got the East Ferris Fitness Center. And we've got the Asheville School, both the sale and the rentals as they're going to hopefully take place. But the bottom line is you can't do this without council involvement, senior staff involvement. And these were done basically by volunteers, councillors and senior staff, along with government grants, which opens the door. So the Economic Development Committee, to my knowledge, has had no appreciative efforts in this area. They're basically the trade show. And that's why I think in the competitive market that we're in right now, and I hate to do it halfway through a term, but I think it's important because I see it's been in the paper a few times. There's a few initiatives coming up and businesses looking to move or transfer their premises. And if we're not competitive and if we're not knocking on the front door, somebody else will. So that's the reason for, and I know it's unfortunate it's halfway through. As I mentioned, Councillor Deputy Mayor Ruyackers called me last night at home, and I did mention to her that we appreciate all the efforts of the committee, including hers, obviously, as the chair. And she will also be, obviously, as a member of council, she'll be part of the restructuring process because it's going to be council involved. Because this is where it ends up, and I'm being realistic. So I'd like a letter of thank you, as I think the letter stated, motion stated, a thank you to the existing committee, but it should come back immediately to the committee of the whole, as well as senior staff. Thank you.
Councillor Kelly, for explaining your motive for putting that motion forward. Further comments or questions of Councillor Kelly? Wait, Deputy Mayor Ruyackers?
So I'm not in agreement with this. I think that it's a rushed decision. I think that there is work that that the previous committee had done and that we're trying to continue and grow on. We have ideas that we would like to explore to actually build from within to create a network within our within East Ferris, and to not only like we are okay because all of those projects, as you said, were done with senior staff and councillors, but we would like to grow the network within the community. We would like to promote the smaller home-based businesses. And we have a plan for doing that. We're still in discussions, and we would like to have that time to develop this further. I think that this motion, I'm going to be quite honest, is disrespectful to the committee that we haven't been consulted or collaborated with this decision. I believe that this is an imposition on us. It isn't done in the nature of consultation. And I know that from my committee members, they do feel disrespected by this. I am disappointed with the process. So anyways, if we proceed further with this, I would like a recorded vote on this.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor Ruakers.
So I guess-
Further comments? We absolutely, go ahead, yeah.
So it's going to a committee of a whole, and I know that Jason had come up, Mr. Trache came up with this idea. And so I would like to know if it is going to a committee of a whole, are we ready for that? This is something that I guess is done in North Bay. And I just wanted to know the process. Is it a simple just switch over? That we are dissolved and it
Sure.
just switches. So if I could get an explanation about that whole process.
So right now, there is no committee of the whole that forms part of this resolution. So that would be a second step, another, as we proceed. So this evening, it's strictly the dissolving the committee that's before us. That is the resolution. And that staff make recommendations to council. Thank you so much. Yes. So basically, so it's certainly a discussion for the future, the whole question of committee of the whole. And to your point, I suspect the Deputy Mayor Ruakers, it will have repercussions beyond economic development. And so it needs to be looked at in its entirety and see how it would work. And I think this evening, I don't think we're prepared to engage in that discussion. I think there's work by our staff. But so I think we're on simply the matter of dissolving the committee for now so that we can examine and other steps forward, to your point. Councillor Kelly?
Just one comment. What has happened in the past, Warren, is that whoever is involved in the areas, give an example, the medical building, Councillor Tran and I were co-chairs of the medical building, and we oversaw the project basically from start to finish with the additional help of senior staff. We reported back to council on a regular basis, let them know how everything was going. There's other areas where municipal garage, municipal building, some of the subdivisions and so forth, we have various members of council that oversee the projects and report back to council as a whole. Now, whether that's going to continue, I don't know, but it's worked in the past. I don't know. I've got about, I'm going to say 12 to 15 major projects here, and they've all been successful and hopefully continue to do so. So that's how we've done it in the past. Thank you.
Further comments? Wait, no further comments. I did want to ask council a question. We do have, Deputy Mayor Ruakers has spoken about plans that they have and initiatives that they have been considering, or she has been considering. There would be nothing that would prevent Deputy Mayor Ruakers from putting that in writing and bringing it forward to council for consideration for the formation of an ad hoc committee to be able to move any of those issues forward or project forward if she so wanted to bring those forward. I mean, all of us, we could do that. She could put forward a notice of motion, she could bring forward a project, and she could request that under our committees and board policy, there's various types of committees that we recognize could exist within our environment. So we could consider and see how that could be structured and support the ideas that come forward from Deputy Mayor Ruakers. Wait.
I would just add on to that, no problem with that, but it would say that could go to the staff, and then that can trickle down to council once we figure out how we're going to actually do it.
So correct, it could go many ways, you're absolutely right. But there would be nothing that would prevent Deputy Mayor Ruakers from putting forward a notice.
That's
Yes, correct.
It can be totally open, but it can go to the staff that's overseen.
It could, yes.
It can trickle down once we do the hard work with regards of how we're going to continue and move on.
Yes, so there's different forms of that, so agree, yes.
But this motion just talks about this dissolution of the economic committee
Yes,
as effective basically April 15th.
but
That's what stuff basically done.
That's what's on the floor. Simply wanted,
Council in the past and continues to be open-minded about someone coming through if it's still, there's a need.
right. So on that note, we will move forward with a recorded vote, and I do believe that we have.
Yes.
a-
Councillor Champagne did submit a proxy appointing Terry Kelly to vote for him on this matter.
So we read the resolution, so now we're gonna have a recorded vote. I'll let you proceed with before.
Okay, so we go in the order of the elections. Deputy Mayor Roy Akers, yay or nay?
No.
Councillor Kelly,
Yes,
Councillor Trahan,
Yes.
or Councillor
Yes.
Champagne? Your proxy and Mayor Usher,
No, Nate.
carried.
Carrie, thank you. Thank you all. We move forward with bylaws. And so basically, this is a bylaw, the automatic aid agreement, and I believe, is it our chief that will be speaking to this here? Yes. Was it?
This, Mayor Rochford, this matter did go to the fire committee and we
Yeah.
had reviewed it. So this is, what we wanted was calendar, the municipality calendar to pass it before our council, which they have. So
Right.
this is now coming to council for approval. But if there's any questions, our fire chief's here this evening.
Okay, so we'll put forward the resolution.
I just wanted to say, make a comment as the chair of that committee.
Yes.
So I just wanted to also say is that this agreement between the municipality of East Ferris and the corporation of municipality of Callender. This is a huge move forward, step forward here to get this automatic aid in place here. This actually helps everybody out. It's a win-win situation for both municipalities. Also, it's a huge check mark off the box for risk assessment for the municipality of East Ferris. This should have been done years ago, but kudos to our new chief here to make good interactions with the other fire department neighboring municipality, and they were able to get this done and get it written up, and it came to council. It's also gone to the municipality calendars council. So it's everybody's in agreement on it, and this is just a great bylaw that's going to be forward here. And again, it's huge for our risk assessment in our municipality.
Madam Clerk?
Mover seconder, please. Councillor Champagne. Whereas council of the municipality of East Ferris deems it expedient to pass 3 readings of the following bylaw at this session, be it hereby resolved that a bylaw to enter into an automatic aid agreement between the corporation and the municipality of East Ferris and the corporation of the municipality of Callender, be read a first, second, and third time, passed in number 2024-15. And that said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk and sealed with the seal of the corporation.
Any questions or comments? Councillor Kelly?
Jeff, congratulations to our chief and to the chair. Good job. It's a long time coming and you're right, it should have been done years ago, but you know what? It's in place now, so good for you guys. Congratulations.
Say Paul?
No, really, I mean,
I was just going
these are adjacent communities and they've got dedicated volunteer firefighters as we do. And it's a win-win deal.
and fires are so, I mean, I'm just so awful, so dramatic, the impact of fires are so difficult, right? We just did this in North Bay, those awful fires that have impacted families and people, and so it's so important to have good fire service. So yes, we're well said. Any further comments? We didn't hear the others.
Yeah, I just have one question, and I think it's great to have the partnership between between the
Communities?
two municipalities. But I just, so number 2, that the agreement in its entirety be here to attach and form part of this bylaw as Schedule A. Is there another document attached to this, or what does that mean?
I may have,
It should.
yeah, may have omitted to attach the actual agreement. I can forward to council and we can do third reading.
And comment and answer to that, Deputy, I can't remember what the Schedule A was, but I think it was just
A little bit of criteria of how things were gonna work out between the two municipalities.
but again, I'm not 100%, but I'm trying to remember what the Schedule A was, but it was something along that line.
It's the entire agreement.
Yeah, it's,
Okay,
So I just omitted to attach it to the agenda.
so our clerk has just suggested that maybe what we do tonight is do first and second reading so that we can see the aid agreement, the actual, and then at our next meeting, we would have the third reading.
Third reading on May 14th.
That'd be all right?
I would
Thank you
think
for
that.
picking that up. Well done. All in favor? Bon, carried. Thank you so much. We'll move forward now with our adoption of our tax rates for 2024.
Thank you, Mayor Rochford. So I'm actually going to share our screen. So that members of the public as well as our deputy mayor can see the presentation. Okay, so as everyone's aware, we passed budget on March 28th. It's not a big concern, but
You mean it's not full screen, is that right?
no, I'm just wondering why the box.
Oh, yeah, there.
Yeah, so on March 28th, council approved our 2024 budget for the municipality. And the overall levy change is an additional $290,733. So that represents a 4.38% tax levy increase. So our total tax levy this year is just over $6.9 million, which excludes the education levy. Education is roughly $1.2 million. We collect on behalf of the school board and remit it to them. But a little bit of a breakdown of our entire $6.9 million tax revenue. So as you can see, residential taxes, we get close to $6.7 million. Commercial, $122,295. And then we get just under $92,000 from pipeline. Just under $20,000 for industrial properties, a little over $2,000 for farmlands, $1,500 for managed forests, and $10,760 from payments in lieu, which is basically properties that are owned by the provincial or federal government, and they pay based on an assessment that they make of the value of the property. Going to the next page. Okay, the 2024 tax rates. These are the tax rates listed, and you can see we've divided them up by municipal, education, and the total tax rate. So just a note on the bottom of the screen, taxes per 100,000 of assessment for residential properties is $1,130.32 per 100,000. 2023 was $1,115.56. So year over year change, it's $1,476 per year per 100,000 of assessment is the increase. So I've broken out, it's about $1.23 per month per 100,000 of assessment is our increase. So very, very little increase. Just to let council know as well, some municipalities, when they speak to the public, they'll either speak to a tax levy increase or a tax rate increase. So our tax levy increase, which is the additional money we've got to tax the taxpayer to get by, was 4.38. But our tax rate increase for the residential was 1.32%. So I know if you saw North Bay, they passed a 3.97% tax levy increase, but the rate was like 2.74. So those are the differences for us. So 1.32%. Distribution of our tax impact just on the residential properties. So we've got 2,705 residential properties. They're all going to see increases this year. There's no property that's going to get a decrease. And 100% of the increase is between 0 and 3%. And what I said was that it's 1.32% is what the residential one went up. So So there's not a taxpayer that's gonna see an increase of more than 3%, basically. Here's a bit of a breakdown. This is a tax impact on a median typical property. So a single family home. The assessments haven't changed from 2023 to 24. So it's single family home, the typical value is $247,000. So you can see total taxes is just under 2,800. Tax change of about $36.45, and that's where you can see 1.32%. And then so on and so forth. And if you look at something like a small office building or a small retail commercial property or a standard industrial property, they're all going to have a tax change of about 0.8%. There is only one property that's a standard industrial, so you can see that taxes are up under $200 on an industrial property. They're very minor increases when you start looking at them based on family home versus industry. And you'll notice that the CVA hasn't changed because the assessments haven't changed from one year to the next. And then our taxable assessment, so this takes out the exempt properties. So our taxable assessment by class of property, 97% of our taxable assessments residential, which we're aware of that. Just under 2% is commercial, and then so on and so forth. You can see that every other class is below 1% for a total of 100,000 or 100%. Total taxable assessment is 706,245,000, basically for East Ferris. Yeah. Those are quick numbers.
Excellent. Good job.
Stop sharing the screen. Okay, so also, just so we're aware, we'll go back to the bylaw. So so our total budget, as you can see under item number 1, the total general purpose amount that's we've passed is $9,411,504. Of that amount, $6,921,722 needs to be taxed to the taxpayer to balance the budget. And then so on and so forth. We've got the tax rates in our bylaw. We've got due dates of June 28th and July 31st for our tax installments for the final bill. And that summarizes basically our tax rate bylaw. If there's any questions, I'll take them.
Do we do a press release of our,
My thoughts this year was to release the few pages that we were presented this evening. And we don't normally do any kind of news release. I would assume that we're going to hear from someone like Bay Today is going to call us to do a general article about it. We also released our tax pamphlet with the tax bills. So there's a little bit more work to do there. That's where we divide up our budget based on department. And we show what piece of the pie everybody gets, basically how much the ABCs get. So, but if council wishes, we can release a media release. There's nothing wrong with that.
just asking.
Yeah. Just an FYI, our education rates have not changed this year. The province held them the same.
Yeah.
So so the increase, when you look at $14 per 100,000, it's purely municipal purposes. It's not to do with education. Over the last few years, they gradually have gone down. And that's where we're able to use some of that, I guess, cushion, I would say, because there's a decrease and we normally go up. So it cushions our increase, but not this year.
Mhm.
Just one comment. I know we've already discussed it, but I really like staying away from percentages and just giving amounts, especially for the average home going up less than $50 for the year.
Okay, yes.
That's what the,
Yeah.
and because people relate to that a lot faster, because they see in the paper, oh, somebody went up 4.7%. This was only 2.3, but 2.3 could be $500 and our 4 point whatever is basically 50. It's less than $50 per household for the year. So
That's right.
people identify with that real fast.
Yes, that's why I was actually asking for the press release. So we can put out that information in the
Yep.
manner that,
Yep.
that people understand. And I don't know if it was the third slide at the bottom there that.
Yeah, we can put something out. There's no issue with that at all. Like just for comparison purposes as well. And it's public. It was in the paper, but North Bay put it out by month as well. Like, but their figure was $10 per 100,000 of assessment per month. So their average was 120. was the increase, right?
Yep.
So that's why for us, it's $15, but that's for the year.
Oh, yeah.
By the month, it's $1.23.
Big
You're
difference.
comparing $1.23 to $10
Mhm.
per 100,000 of assessment. Bigger beast, there's other items they
Yeah.
deal with, right? But I'm just putting it out there. I believe in calendar past theirs, it was a 4.5% tax rate increase. Ours is 1.32.
Yeah.
And I think if I worked out the levy, I believe it was about 7.1% tax levy increase versus our 4.38. So it's tough when you start looking at percentages in the paper.
I'd like to do-
Can't compare them, they're not apples to apples. right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was getting at, thank you.
Yeah, aside from that, I don't believe West Nipissing's passed the budget unless I'm wrong, but for us, it's us in North Bay and Callender. And I don't think there's another municipality surrounding us that's passed it yet, so.
Okay. You want?
So if council wants me to release something, there's no issue with that.
No, I just find it, whatever we do prepare to communicate, that
Yep.
if we prepare it in the manner of,
Sure.
that we've just discussed, I think that would be helpful. So if they, yes, so that we communicate in that fashion.
Okay,
That enable,
I think if we do it through our website and social media, that should cover it.
yes.
Okay, sure.
All in favor? Did we pass it? Did we read it?
I'm gonna mover and a seconder, please.
Sure.
Counselor Kelly.
You gotta have a bit of fun, eh?
Whereas council municipality service deems it expedient to read through readings of the following bylaw at the session. Here as well as bylaw, we have the estimate of all sums required during the year and to provide for the adoption of tax rates report. For the first, second, and third time, passed in number 4-16, and that's a bylaw must be signed by the mayor and clerk and sealed with the seal of the corporation.
All in favor? Wait, excellent. I just wish to congratulate the municipality and in particular, Monsieur Trottier. I feel like, you know, I must say this week, the mosquitoes are out. We're a whole month ahead, like the spring's just advanced. Well, we've just done the same thing with the budget. We're a whole month. So well done. We're in keeping with the trends. Yes, so, yeah, that's so incredible. eh?
Yeah, just a further comment, just what you're saying, it's tough. You know, and I tell the residents that, you know what, there's behind the scenes, right, where the CEO is going back to staff and say, you gotta need to find some savings. Then we sit down at council, and we sit there and go, where can we save, what can we do, what's our direction and stuff like that, so it's kind of unique after like sitting on my second term and really getting now a feel of it and how it actually gets composed and how it gets presented and then how it goes to the end the day product, right?
Yes.
How we get there.
Right.
And it's actually, I enjoy that day, but it's tough. It's tough on everybody. It's not an easy go. There's some things that we all want and we had to cut back to try and make sure that we're, you know, responsible
Mhm.
and then make sure that this gem of a municipality, is, you know, here to stay for a long time and we're responsible when it comes to financial. So I just wanted to say, you know, like you said, Mayor, thanks a lot for the staff and other councillors also with the good work. So it's tough, but you know what, we get her done.
It's
Another comment if I may, Mayor Roche, where we continue to scrutinize the budget line by line.
yes, that's a very good practice.
It's not summarized for council in any way, right? It's line by line, council sees every expense line or revenue by line. There's an opportunity to scrutinize every line, right, in a $9.4 million budget. So.
Yeah.
It's a good way of doing it.
It's an excellent way. And you know what, and we talk about the big word, right? Transparency, you know what, it's that, but also it's your due diligence with regards to the work the good work that we're doing at hand, right? To make sure that we're not missing something and we're not excluding or including something that we shouldn't have or whatever, vice versa. So it's, you know what, it's pretty, we dissect it quite well. So yeah, it's, and that's why I said, now I'm starting to see more of the bigger picture of it. And, you know, since we have senior counselors across the table for me and as well as the mayor, it's you know, it's coming full circle, but it's tough, but it's, you know what, at the end of the day, it's good.
We, Councilor Kelly.
Just one comment, and I agree with you. Councillor Trahan. I think it goes back to staff, quite frankly, and obviously with council's concurrence. You know, one thing I underline with every text here is we provide more services than anyone else. Because Calgary now have sewer and water in some places, but that's an extra charge compared to taxes. When it comes to taxes, we're doing apples to apples. Other than Nipissing Village, we're the cheapest in the area with tax rates. And that says a lot because we got staff that are well paid, but they're doing 2 and 3 jobs. And that shows their commitment and dedication. So I think hats off to everybody. Good team.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Transparent was a good word to use. It's a very transparent process when you look at items line by line, so. There being no further comments, we move forward with the next item,
Yep.
Beck's bylaw, which is Hemlock Island. And Mr. Curtin, are you speaking to this?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Council?
We're back on Hemlock.
Maybe we have like, yeah.
Well, the ice is down. We can get there now.
Nice. Yes, so this bylaw is for you. This is follow up to a resolution that council passed last August 8th, 2023. This is a shoreline rodent closure on Hemlock Island in front of 966 Hemlock Island, which is a property on the westerly end of the island. So since the resolution was passed by council, they went and got their reference plan prepared. So this bylaw is always your next step following the reference plan. It outlines the thought or the purchase price, which in this case is just shy of $2,300. And that's based on the square footage of a little bit over 3,000 square feet, with our bylaw rate applied of 75 cents per square foot. So that's how we arrive at the value. And what this bylaw does is it authorizes the mayor and clerk to go ahead and execute the sale agreement with the owner, Todd Burke.
Well,
This is the property we had sold on Hemlock Island?
No, this is a property on the opposite that they have.
Burlington?
Yes.
Mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Champagne, Councillor Trahan. Whereas Council for the Municipality of East Ferris deems it expedient to pass 3 readings of the following bylaw at this session, be it hereby resolved that a bylaw to close and convey a part of the original shoreline road allowance in front of PT Hemlock Island, Trout Lake Plan NR 558, Part 6, PCL 10715 WF, described as part of Plan 36R 15213, East Ferris, District of Nipissing, be read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered 2024-17. And that said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk and sealed with the seal of the corporation.
Xavier? Deputy Mayor, yeah, okay. Carrie, thank you so much. Thank you. We move now to correspondence. Deputy Mayor Ruliakers.
13A. Talking about funding for Accessibility Ontario by 2025. And I thought that would be something that would be pertinent to East Ferris. And 13C, endorsement of Bill C 63 in the House of Commons.
I just want to look at C first.
So
Oh, yes.
it is, it is
Go ahead.
pertaining to, the endorsement of Bill 63, which is establishment of Digital Safety Commissioner or Commission and nomination of an independent ombudsman.
They're both 2 good resolutions to support. So in our keeping with our new procedural bylaw, we decide tonight if we want to support them with the same resolution or modify the resolution and to bring it forward. And so let's start with, we can actually go through it all as a council and then come back to them, or we can do them one by one, however you wish to do. Let's do them one by one. So the first one is Prince Edward County, which is the accessibility. And So basically what they're suggesting is this is, the concern is that it's 2025 where we have to be in compliance with accessibility. And many municipalities have expressed the fact that they will have great difficulty doing so because there's a lot of costs involved in having to render your facilities accessible. And one particular project actually that we have, that the municipality in the past has considered that was concerned with accessibility was actually this municipal office, and we dealt with it by building a new municipal office that is accessible. So that was an area that was of concern to this facility where the citizens and the community has expressed concern when it comes to accessibility is the curling club. So with the curling club, if they were to go ahead, that would be an interesting point to add to that funding agreement. So I do believe that they will be pursuing putting something in writing that will include that particular component. So that's another item. That's one facility that we need to look at. Our medical center was built and it is accessible. So basically it is something that we support because to fix whatever else is remaining, in particular the curling club, we will need to have funds to help us with that. So any further points before we put this forward, Deputy Mayor Riachers? We express support?
Yeah, the one thing I would also want to add to that list is the East Ferris elevator.
Yes, I forgot that. Thank you so much. That's always been my number one concern, actually. So I'm so glad you mentioned that. Yes, because that is a problem for us. So absolutely, thank you for reminding me. So with that said, are you comfortable with endorsing this resolution as it stands? They're basically suggesting to create a fund so that municipalities will be able to apply for funding to be able to meet the compliance that's in front of us for ensuring accessibility of all our premises by 2025. So that's a provincial directive or that is going to be,
This is the federal fund, right? C-63? Yeah,
for accessibility?
federal, the fund is a federal fund.
Federal fund.
That's what they're asking.
I thought it said provincial government.
It's provincial. This is the.
AODA is a provincial, but they're asking the Canadian federal government, like,
Yes, yeah.
no, that's my,
Yes, exactly. You're on the
yes.
next one. I know.
correct.
Yes, thank you. It's okay. It's a provincial fund because it's a provincial obligation. So thank you for that. So I think it's a good one to support. It's in line with what we've been working towards as a municipality. Pardon me, go ahead. Yes.
No, it's
Councillor Zahan.
it's a good letter to support. The only thing I get a little perplexed about is this has been on the shelf for many years.
Yes.
And I see a lot of other public buildings, so I'll switch gears here from municipality to other public buildings where they're dragging their feet on accessibility. And I just hate to see some of those companies or places or buildings where there's a fund where they can apply for it that they should have had done a long time ago. And we're talking about businesses as multi-million dollars budgets a year, not small budgets here. So that's my only caveat on something on with regard to this, because you got to read between the lines here with regards of, what I mean, what's actually who can apply for it, right? So not to go too deep on it. I just want to put that flavor out there, but yes, I support
For municipality.
for the municipalities, just so that we're on that road.
Yes, we're on the municipal. Well said. We,
I concur, because I remember Paul Gervais years ago coming forward with, and there was gonna be a demand, it was gonna take place in 3 years, and then we asked for money, and they said, well, we've got no money. Well, we said, well, then, if we have no money, if you have no money, we can't do it.
Oh.
That is the problem. It's always gets back to funding and and because it's the new buildings are great, but the older buildings for renos, and then standards kept changing because the wheelchairs and so forth were getting larger,
yes.
the motorized and so forth. But new buildings, which we've done it properly, and when renovated Corbeil, it's the same deal.
Yeah.
It's expensive. And the government keeps saying this is about 4 or 5 different dates I've seen. They want it done by 4 years. Not very practical, quite frankly, but I'm in support of it because buildings should be accessible.
Concur. I did.
No, I'm good.
Yeah. So, how you will read us a resolution at this point of support?
Yeah, I'm gonna move her in a second. Counselor Kelly. Council Municipalities Paris with resolution number 2024-151 from Prince Edward County regarding an accessible Ontario by 20.
All in favor? Thank you, Carrie. Okay, and the next one is, yes, so it's a federal initiative, absolutely, Bill 63. I think it's fairly self-explanatory. Did you want to add additional comments, Deputy Mayor Rouillacres, on that? It's certainly in the press, in the news right now. And we see basically, and I see everyone reading here more closely. Give everyone a minute to make sure they clearly understand what the resolution that's in front of us.
I'd have to read Bill C-63 to know more of it.
So what we basically decided that we would try and move things forward, but at the same time, there's nothing wrong with referring a matter so that we can read the bill. I mean, this to Councillor Tan's point, it's just, yeah, so I think it is an important direction. Yeah, so we will refer it. Is that okay to our next meeting so that we have an opportunity to read this? And if there's any comments that you can make maybe at our next meeting, Deputy Mayor Rouillacres, on that would be great as well, so that we are fully aware of what we're voting for as we move forward. But yes. So thank you for that. We move now to Councillor Kelly.
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you so much. Councillor Tran. Okay. Thank you. We move to action items, approval of correspondence.
Mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Trahan, Councillor Kelly. Council approve the correspondence and information as circulated with the agenda of April 9th, 2024.
In favors? No. Okay. Resolution to cancel our next meeting so that we will be in attendance at the Ontario Good Roads Conference.
Mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Trahan, Deputy Mayor Rouillacres. Whereas council members will be attending the 2024 Good Roads Conference being held in Toronto from April 21st through April 24th, 2024. And whereas there is a regular scheduled council meeting on April 23rd, 2024, be it hereby resolved that the regular council meeting scheduled for April 23rd be canceled in its entirety, and that a special meeting of council be scheduled in accordance with section 240 of the Municipal Act as amended at the call of the chair if required.
All in favor? C'est bon, carried. We will recall that we had sought 3 delegations for OGRE, if I recall correctly. The first one with MTO, and we're basically going to bring forward the presentation that we made. Actually, I think it's 2 years ago now when we first went before MTO, and we want to update it with our culvert program. That was I think, a direction that council had given, that we want to make sure that that's included in addition to the items that we had in there before. And in our last request, we had included the making Corbeil downtown a heart, designing it as for safety for what's the proper community safety zone for Corbeil. So that's still before us, and I think our engineer has done some work, and we need to maybe move that forward with the MTO at our meeting. The next item was at the corner of Highway 94 and Highway 17, we wanted to have an additional button added for pedestrians because it's only on one side of the road, and people often the cyclists use both sides. And so for protection, it would be important to have those buttons so that they can request crossing so that it'd be safer for them. So that was another ask. We'd also asked for the paving of shoulders to now come into Corbeil, to the Corbeil Park, to the Corbeil Recreational Hub. so that there would be an extension into Corbeil Recreational Hub. But we had said that that would be when they would start looking at repaving of Highway 94. And actually today, as I was driving it, I was noting that there are some issues with the asphalt. And so we may take some pictures to make sure that we included our presentation of those items with respect to Highway 94. The final item was with on Highway 17, when they redid the corner with the lights, we had wanted the passing or the turning lane onto Johnson Road extended so that basically right now it like when you cross the intersection as you're heading towards Bonfield, it ends. And then you have to go a certain number of feet and then the turning lane occurs. So what happens is traffic starts to speed up. And we had been concerned about that. And there had been, municipality had expressed concerns to the MTO on that. And they had come back to us and said that they felt that the intersection was in conformity with, their practices and so on. But I think it is important that we go back on that item. And so we can revisit that in the next week. We need to prepare a presentation is what I'm saying. We need to make sure that we're all on the same page because we'll be going together to that delegation. Delegations have not yet been awarded.
We've not heard anything except for today. I received late in the afternoon a call from MTO, someone from the MTO, a staff member. They're waiting to see what the minister's schedule is going to be. They're not sure if the minister is able to attend or it's going to be someone else like the parliamentary secretary. So what they've said is they want to know who from our municipality would be attending the delegation. They're doing a little bit of work right now to try to set up a schedule so that if the minister is available or something, then they've got work that's been done. So to me,
Okay.
that indicates we're likely getting an MTO delegation.
Right.
I've not heard from the other two ministers.
No. So the other one we had requested was
Long-term care
long-term care for Castle Home.
for Castle Home and what was our third matter, Carrie?
Oh, infrastructure for the school in.
Correct.
Correct, exactly, ma'am.
Municipal affairs.
Municipal affairs,
housing-
housing, sorry,
Housing money for the former.
for former centuries. St. Thomas.
St. Thomas.
St. Thomas Aquinas. That was a senior moment there from Mr. CEO. You don't have many of those.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we're working on and we hope to hear in the next week on what's confirmed or not. So thank you so much.
As soon as we know, council will know. Because we don't have a lot of time left to prepare presentations.
No, yeah, that's what did we vote on that resolution to, yes, we did. Yes, yes, all done. Motion to reconsider. So that, I believe now, this, to proceed with this, we, do you want to explain the process? Just,
Sure.
Yeah.
So at the last regular council meeting, there was a request for reconsideration. Deputy Mayor Rogers to reconsider vote regarding raising pride flag for the month of June. So we will need a mover and seconder to, or if I can get a meeting second, mover and seconder, I can put the motion on the floor to reconsider or.
Sure.
So I believe Deputy Mayor Rogers, according to our procedural bylaw, has to move this. Are you in favor of moving, Deputy Mayor Rogers? And secondary, Councillor Kelly. So that resolution number 2024-67 defeated on March 26, 2024, relating to the flag raising request submitted by Lauren Rogers to raise the pride flag for the month of June 2024 be reconsidered. And just a note to members of council that a yes vote on this matter means that the matter will be reconsidered and a no vote means the matter will not be reconsidered and the original resolution will stand.
So what you're voting on right now is to allow a vote of reconsideration, not whether the flag is.
Turn it down, it's done. If it's a no vote.
The motion to reconsider is done. So go ahead.
So Deputy Mayor Rogers,
Yes.
Councillor Kelly,
No.
Councillor Trahan,
No.
Mayor Rushford.
Yes. So the motion is, the motion to reconsider is defeated. So we will not be reconsidering Deputy Mayor Ruyaker's motion. So thank you for that. We will move forward now with item D, which is a flag raising request from a citizen of East Ferris, Mr. Jack Doherty. And so we could move that as well and put it forward for.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Mover and a seconder, please.
Sure.
I will.
Councillor Kelly,
Or-
moved by Deputy Mayor Royakers and seconded by Councillor Kelly. Whereas a flag raising request. Sorry. Whereas a flag raising request form was submitted by Jack Doherty and received by the clerk on March 28th, 2024. And whereas the request is for the municipality to raise the pride flag for the month of June 2024, be it hereby resolved that council approve this request.
So any comments or questions before we proceed to voting? This is not a recorded vote, so Deputy Mayor Rialpers.
So I would like it to be a recorded vote.
Uh-oh.
And I also mentioned, I do have to state that in the last debate about the pride flag, a term was used called splinter group. And it shocked me. So I didn't respond to it, but I was thinking about it afterwards. And that splinter group is a active decision to break away from a group. People who have
That's nothing to
are
do with the request.
LGBT,
No,
of
excuse me,
order.
but I have the floor.
No, it's no point of order on this. It's not recognized by the chair. The deputy mayor has the right to speak on this issue.
So
Proceed.
this LGBTQ is not a choice. It is your biology and your neuroscience. And as well as it being a splinter group, I am part of that splinter group. I support people with LGBTQ. And I know that other mothers, fathers, families, communities, and institutions support. So it is not just a splinter group. It is a bigger group that wants to have the flag raised, that wants to have acceptance, safety, and connection for people who are in this spectrum. When, they haven't been granted these rights before, and now we are moving them forward. I think it is important that our community support inclusion and safety and connection for all people. It is supported in East Ferris. The posts when the staff put on their t-shirts and post that for the pride flag, it is supported by many likes by the community. One mentioned on Facebook that, we raised the flag to support the people who were in Ukraine and in that war. And that was 5 people. And this is a bigger group. So we have had presence before where we have supported groups by raising the flag. So as well, there was a discussion about that this would cause some conflict and controversy. Others, Mr. Doherty wrote a letter to council and said, Norwich and Petawawa had also said no to the flag and then reversed their decision. So this is something that is coming, that other communities support. When I have traveled around, I see communities actually painting their crosswalks in the colors of the LGBTQ pride flag and supporting that throughout the year. So I think this is a very important thing that needs to be supported, and I want to support this. And I also would like a recorded vote.
And thank you, Deputy Mayor Rialpers. Other comments or questions?
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, let's have a recorded vote. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, wait. Councillor Kelly, wait.
Yeah, I feel that we live in an extremely inclusive community. And when flag represents 3% of the population of people over the age of 15 years of age, I think that 97% of the population is not represented, whereas the Canadian flag represents all people. So that's my stance and nothing has changed. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Councillor Kelly. I also wanted to comment on it, and I must admit, last week I was quite a bit off guard because I know we have a policy, but I didn't have a policy recently. All I could remember is that we have a third, we had built into our policy a third flag. So I think what's important is that when we put forward policies as a council, is that we work with our policies, we respect our policies. And so I went back to the policy to see what it read. And so to ensure that, and I can read I'd like to read parts of it because I don't think everyone's got it with them. So, but very much when we put it forward, actually it was a very, sometimes we pass things, we don't realize the good work that we did and that went into this policy. There was a lot of research, I think, by a previous clerk. And so I was quite impressed with what we had put on paper. And now that I read it anew. But basically the purpose, it says, is to allow, to provide, to also allow. So basically describes that the flag is there for commemoration, for various events of that nature. But it also says to also provide public awareness opportunities for various organizations, community, and citizen matters, And so basically that's why we had included the third flag. Then it further describes that it has a scope. Okay, and it goes into that. It describes what the scope is. There's basically, it says the policy applies to requests, and that's what we are evaluating, which meet at least one of the following criteria. So of the three criteria, two don't really apply in this case, but the third one does, I believe. And it says the request can demonstrate, so the policy applies to requests which meet at least one of the following criteria. The request can demonstrate that the cause is of benefit to and or supports the residents of the municipality and or relates to an important event taking place in the municipality. So definitely this request for flag raising policy comes to us from citizens who feel so that we need to support them in the municipality. So basically we meet that test as well from in that sense. And, Councillor Kelly, I do agree with you. I mean, when we look at StatsCan, the statistic, I went back to look at that, and I do believe it may be just a slightly last census, maybe 4%. But I also read more about it, and I understand that a lot of people don't self-identify, and it's an area where there is stigma attached to it. And so as a result of that, it's not an accurate figure, I believe, is the official position of. So I'll go through all my points here and then I'll turn it over to you. So that's a problem, but I understand some research has been done that's not either necessarily formal as StatsCan, but it does suggest that maybe 10% of the population is a member of the, I'm trying to say all the initials, the LGBTQ community. And so, but regardless of that, okay, I was thinking of my own family. My extended family, my friends, there are many members that I know that are members of the LGBTQ community. So we say 3%, but multiply, take my only extended family, it's easily over 200, almost 200 people, okay? They all love and care for the residents in this community. I don't want to start my finger, that's my, I didn't mean to bring it up. But they all love and care for the members of that are in this community, that are members of the LGBTQ community. So basically, I suggest to us that, yes, there is a formal statistic, but I suspect that it's much higher than that when you take the people that love and care for the members of this community that are here present. I did hear from a few people that were hurt by our position taken. And I do, I do recognize that last year when I was very proud of the municipal staff, 2 years in a row, they made it as part of the header on our Facebook page. They also took pictures, they brought t-shirts, they took pictures of themselves in various ways. Those posts over the 2 years were the most liked posts from our citizens. They're only positive comments that we received from our citizens. And basically people said, this is good to be inclusive, to be tolerant. So I found that important too as well, that we take note of that. And there was no negative comment. I did not hear any negative comment about what the municipality did on its Facebook page. I all viewed it as being very positive. So I think that that's an important point that we take into account. I don't disagree with you. I mean, there has been a lot of controversy on this issue across our province. And I guess to some extent, it's on which side do we choose to stand on, but I mean, certainly you look at major cities, city of Toronto, city of Ottawa, the provincial, federal government, provincial government that has told all of its school boards, please, you put up the pride flag and we endorse it as a government, but they leave it to the school boards because it's within their jurisdictions. So I say to us, we would not be taking an action on our own. So I wanted to touch on our policy because for me, what I'm trying to say, are we in conformity? Is this request in conformity with our policy? And so I move on. In our policy though, again, it said proclamations will not be considered for the following, or flag raising requests will not be considered for the following reasons. So we did include reasons why we should not move forward. And basically one was, and if it comes from political parties or organizations, if they're commercial entities or celebration of corporate events, basically if the intent is contrary to municipal policies or bylaws, which is not the case, and organizations requesting flag raisings that support hatred, violence, or racism. So personally, I don't feel that the request to raise a flag fits in any of those. No reason for us to say no, because they don't basically fit in any of those categories. I read about what the pride flag meant, and it means it's about a flag that's about inclusiveness. And it's about recognizing that a municipality is made up of a lot of different faces, a lot of different people, and it's about recognizing that they all have a place in our municipality. So that's the pride flag. It's about inclusiveness. To me, it's about being tolerant of differences. There's differences, and if we're going to be a good council, as we say in our strategic plan, when we talk about our values, we do raise the fact that we want to be an inclusive community. So that we need to stand by our words. We put words on paper in a strategic plan, in a policy. My suggestion to us is that we need to stand by our words. That said, okay, and then it comes to the flag raising request procedures, and then it says, which is, I was a little bit, when you spoke last week, I did, I did pay attention, and I did, to some extent, there were a few things that were bothering me. It bothers me the month. And then, when you said about Remembrance Day, I thought, yes, that's a good point. Councillor Trahan makes, a day after Remembrance Day and a whole month for Pride Month. And I do recognize there's a lot of other military type commemoration ceremonies in our country, but Remembrance Day is a very important day. And it gets one day, and here we're suggesting a month. So I have an issue with a month. I feel that that's like too much. Then I read our policy and I thought, well, here we go. Our policy says the flying of a requested organization or society's flag will be upon availability, first come, first served, and well, there's nobody else right now that's asking, and will be flown for a period of 1 business day. 1 business day. So I guess, in a way, what I'm suggesting is I'm suggesting, is there room for a compromise? Is there room for recognizing that maybe on June 1st, the first day of Pride Month, that we will raise the flag and doing so would be in conformity. My concern is that by voting a name is that we're not voting in support of our policy. And by doing that, on what basis? On what basis do we say no? And that, we talked about certain words and certain, my risk is that, we're not putting our actions where our written word is. And so on that note, I will, how I will vote, and I will support very much, but I would like to see it one day rather than a month. Personally, I feel better with that. I feel it fits our policy. I feel it would be a compromise for those that are concerned about the conflict of this matter. I feel that it's a compromise, and I feel it supports what our staff has done. It supports the fact that there are, not only in our municipality, there are members of the LGBTQ community that all they're asking for is that we recognize that they are in our community and that they are part of this community. That's all it stands for. So if there's nothing wrong with this, it's a good thing. So on that note, I pause. I've said thank you for listening to all of I didn't mean to come across as,
Teaching.
Yes, precisely. Thank you, Councillor Trahan. I know maybe it did a little bit, but it's important for me to make the point so that you are receptive to maybe to opening up and supporting the compromise of a date. So on that note, I stop, and that would mean that if you would be in support, that we would need to modify the resolution and bring the support for a day. Councillor
I
Kelly.
have one other comment. I have friends in the LGBTQ plus two community, and a lot of them want, they're a split group as well, because a lot of them want what everybody else wants. And I spent a number of years in an organization where a good third to maybe more percentage was part of that community. They wanted what everybody else wants. They want to be treated as equals and treated with respect and dignity. They don't want the flag. They don't want to be centered out. They don't want to be, oh my God, you have to have a flag because we're different according to our sexual orientation. They just want to be treated like everyone else. And that's what we, as a council and as individuals, we do. And I'll give you an example. Look across the table. Councillor Trahan and I spent over 19 years each on the volunteer fire department. Rick Champagne before us spent, I'm not sure how long, but he was a volunteer fire. When the alarm went out, we never said, oh my God, who are we responding to? We just went because that's what volunteers do. And if you don't mind, Mayor, you and your husband during COVID, you let it be known that you would deliver groceries to any individual, especially the elderly, if they had trouble getting out with COVID. And that was a very selfless act. And unknowingly, you might have put yourself in the way of harm. We certainly did, and we accepted the risk for the good of all. So we're, as I say, we're a very inclusive community. I still vote, I would vote no.
Thank you, Councillor Kelly. Councillor Trahan.
Yeah, just to move on and also say, I've worked with and supervised people of the LGBTQ, where my employment. And I've spoke with residents here in East Ferris who are part of LGBTQ as well as who's not. Because I wanted a little more insight with regards to myself and my going down the wrong path or not. So I have my numbers and I have my people that I spoke with. And I'm voting on with regard to the percentage of the people that I spoke with that would say no to the flag be raised to the municipality proper. So it's not a personal thing. So it's something that I've also spoke with. We have people and I spoke to in our area, in our bay. Okay. And they said no. So just to echo what Councillor Kelly was saying. So.
Thank you, Councillor.
Yeah, thank you.
We Deputy Mayor reactors.
So I have talked to people as well, and they want the flag, right? So we're having in front of us a request to fly the flag. If people want to say no, then they can put in at the effort that Mr. Doherty has done to say, no, this is not appropriate. But right now in front of us, we have a request. And I have had people and have been involved, and I counsel people who are on all parts of that flag, that inclusion, and they are honored when they see it flown, and they see it as a symbol of connection, of safety, and inclusiveness. So right now it is, we have somebody's word who wants the flag to be flown. We have staff that present themselves on Facebook, supporting the flag. The people who Councillor Trahan and Councillor Kelly are saying haven't really put forward any effort or any communication to council saying, please don't fly the flag. So I would like to see that, if that is actually the case. But right now we have a request for the flag and for people who are supporting it, and they have put in the effort to actually ask for it. So I think we should respect that and fly the pride flag. And I would compromise for a day if that is what could be compromised, and flying it on June 1st. I would support that.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Riakers. Councillor Kelly.
I was wondering why it was a full month, just a little aside, just for anyone out in TV land. Actually, it's the month of June simply because that is a remembrance of a riot that took place in Manhattan in 1969. And it was apparently the LGBT community that went on a riot, rampage. They felt they were being persecuted and so forth. But then there's a name for the riot as well. It happened in June, but it's in New York State, in New York City, Manhattan, obviously. We live in one of the freest countries in the world. So if anyone wants to fly a flag on their property, as long as you're not breaking the law, fly as many flags as you want. This is a municipality. It's an official flag, and the Canadian flag is inclusive of everyone. There's no exceptions. Thank you.
So I'm simply saying, we want to vote on that. I mean, council has to bring support, and I suspect there is no support from what I could gather, but I mean, it does raise in question, why did we have a third flag? Why a third post? Why did we put it up? I mean, it's for the municipal flag, but from what I gather, our municipal policy here for flag raising, for all of these other opportunities, we should maybe do away with it, because there doesn't seem to be an appetite for any receptivity to other, is that what I'm gathering here?
Maybe then we should design a flag for the municipality, because cities have their own flags.
Well, we do have our own flag. We do-
Okay, well then, in that case,
The third flagpole is for the municipal flag, but we also have a flag raising policy that says that for different events, I don't know if you've read the flag raising policy, but
I've only read parts.
okay,
Sure.
so this evening we're voting on this matter, I think. Is there any appetite for a compromise?
No.
So do proceed with the recorded vote, Madam Clerk.
So moved by Deputy Mayor Riker, seconded by Councillor Kelly, whereas a flag raising request form was submitted by Jack Doherty and received by the clerk on March 28th, 2024. And whereas the request is for the municipality to raise the pride flag for the month of June 2024, be it hereby resolved that council approve this request. Deputy Mayor Riakers,
Yes.
Councillor Kelly,
No,
Councillor Trahan,
Nay.
Mayor Ashford.
Yes. So thank you, council, for this discussion, and we move forward with approval of accounts payable.
Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Kelly and Councillor Trahan. That council approve the general accounts for the municipality of East Ferris as indicated in the check register dated April 9th, 2024, and the amount of $392,345.34.
All in favor? C'est bon, Carrie, thank you so much. Now, other business, and we turn it over to you, Councillor Trahan.
Yes, just a real quick update with regards to cleanup day for May 7th. That's the date which the columns chosen this year. And that for all the people who are participating in the cleanup day to take their action pictures and make sure that they email them to the municipality, which is that email address is the municipality@eastferris.ca, if I'm correct.
Municipality@eastferris.ca.
Yeah, and then the May 18th, I believe, is going to be, we have some prizes to give out. So staff is going to be contacting the people that submitted the photos, and staff will choose the winners. We have some lovely prizes to hand out again this year, and to the winners of the 10 top people that went out and cleaned up and did their due diligence in their area. So anyway, that's I want to make sure and get that out there also. So.
It's always amazing how much things are in the ditches like that for the winter, and I find that it's so good to be able to do this early in the season. And so a good initiative all around.
And I just want to apologize. I know that Councillor Kelly sits on the chair for Phenom.
And I just want to say I'm not going to Phenom because I'm gonna stay behind for cleanup day, so. Yeah, so I'm gonna stick around for that and make sure it,
That's for sure.
yeah,
Understood.
all right, thanks.
Thank you. We've come to in camera. And we do have two items.
Dennis, please, Counselor Kelly, Counselor. Excuse me, this meeting proceeds to in-camera session at 6:30 PM under section 239(2) of the Municipal Act in order to address matters pertaining to the OPP detachment and real estate.